In a world gone mad. Just when you thought you couldn't stomach another retro gaming website. One man.
Oi, 3 men.
What?
3.
No. 3 men to save them all. Be afraid. Be very afraid. Holy shit! It's a wild Snorlax!
The Commodore Amiga. In my eyes, the best computer system ever made. And now, here is my top 10 Amiga games of all time. Number 10. Super Skidmarks. Acid's 1995 zany and frankly at times dizzying racer may not be the most polished offering available on the Commodore Amiga, but what it lacks in overall sheen, it makes up with hilarity and outright pace. Super Skidmarks is number 10 on my list as it is one of the best multiplayer games I have played on 2 fronts. A, it made me have the most overwhelming urge to want to win. B, it made me chortle and laugh out loud at the craziness the game delivered every time one of us slammed our vehicle, or cow, into a barrier. I can't think of too many 3-player games on the Amiga, Super Skidmarks having the unique feature of the 3 split screen, of not just half, but into thirds. Just feel sorry for the guy that had to use the keyboard. The gameplay is fast and frenzied with tracks at times confusingly laid out. My tactic was, if in doubt, go straight, in general, working well in most cases. With a good selection of vehicles and tracks, it was always a really fun experience. I was very tempted to select Lotus Esprit Turbo Challenge here, but Super Skidmarks just has that je ne sais quoi. That, and a boatload of good memories, makes me happy to put this as my number 10. Number 9. Alien Breed 92 Special Edition. Team 17 may have got famous with worms, and well, more worms. But for me, they are most famous for releasing Super Frog and the Alien Breed series. 1991's Alien Breed brought a new gun and run title to the avid shoot it and ask questions later genre. I read a quote that said Alien Breed is heavily inspired by the Alien films. Well, totally, 100%. But that's what made them utterly fantastic and sometimes completely frustrating at the same time. The aliens do not stop coming, so do not even think about hanging around. The key to this game being so enjoyable is the multiplayer. You and your friend both pooing yourselves that you are running low on ammo or keys, meanwhile hearing that frenzied chewing noise indicating forthcoming baddies. Why did I choose the 92 Special Edition? Do I even know the difference between the Standard and the SE? No, but it's one my mate and I played on, so it's number 9 on my list. The first 3 choices on my list are here on merit, yes, but also because these games were played by myself for hours, and so I'd be a hypocrite if I were to choose a more popular game in its place. Alien Breed 92 was the perfect Alien game. The game the Alien franchise should have had. The tension, the atmosphere, the red and green jumpers. Just a brilliant shooter to a non-fan of that genre. Number 8. Flashback. Flashback certainly does give me just that. Amazing memories of graphics and animation ahead of their time. The game's real title, Flashback: The Quest for Identity, was released by Delphine Software in '92. I don't think I ever knew its full title. Everyone just called it Flashback. And it was released on practically every platform going. The Atari Jaguar, Super Nintendo, the Sega Mega CD, the 3DO and the CDI to name a few. But the Amiga was its true home and the system it was designed for. Or so I thought when I was younger. But I swear I read somewhat recently it was initially programmed with the Mega Drive in mind. Sacre bleu. It's French, I'm allowed. Flashback's easily biggest selling point was its animations. I was truly blown away by the smoothness and seamlessness of the jumps that your character, Conrad B. Hart, performs to traverse the first level's various ledges and cliffs. The gun unholstering, yes, it's a word, maybe, frames too were impressive and just helped immerse you in a world where you had to use your brain as well as your gun. By far the best feeling you will get in this game is with your gun out, performing a forward roll into a new screen and blasting a baddie straight away and feeling smug you figured out the roll function. Flashback was in the Guinness Book of Records as the best-selling French game of all time. I hope it still is. Number 7. Speedball II Brutal Deluxe. The Bitmap Brothers 1990 classic Speedball II is an odd one for me. The older I get, the more appreciative of this game I am. As a kid, I didn't play this game as much as others on this list, which I admit I definitely need to correct. The smooth yet fast-paced action of a brutal, futuristic handball competition was on display at every early 90s Amiga fair I ever went to, and with good reason. It's definitely in the easy to pick up, difficult to master bracket for me, and demands to be on everyone's top 10. Again, a perfect multiplayer contest where even the beginners can hammer out a 32-hole draw without strictly knowing what's going on. It took us a while to realise that you got points from hitting the centre orb and the stars on the side walls. The game's speed and slick design makes you sit up and yell, "I'm not in Commodore 64 Kansas anymore, Toto." The career or season mode is a must in games like Speedball, and I love that each player has its own stats such as aggression, speed, intelligence and power that translate to their ability on the court. Speedball 2 got a release on the Game Boy Advance and even the Sega Master System. But just pick up a joystick and give the Amiga version a go. The year 2105 awaits. Number 6. The Secret of Monkey Island. One of my favourite games of all time. So why is it only 6th on my top 10? Yes, I'm wondering that myself, but I look at the other 5 and they're all gaming gems that deserve their place in the top half. Lucasfilm Games' 1990 point-and-click pirate escapade needs no introduction to any Amiga owner. It is one of the 2 games that first made me want to own a Commodore Amiga. My sheer hatred of first-person shooters is matched on the other hand with my love of graphic adventures. The amazing mix of puzzle with witty repartee combined with an added sprinkle of intriguing storyline makes Monkey Island a wonderful and engaging affair. Picking up, combining and using items to progress through the game is extremely rewarding. Unlike some titles, where you need a degree in insane problem solving to get past even the beginning screens, the creator Ron Gilbert wanted a game that was story-based and rewarded thinking over quick reflexes. I could not agree more. His 1989 Jerry Maguire-style mission statement, "Why Adventure Games Suck," set out to right the wrongs of many previous attempts of the genre. It all led to The Secret of Monkey Island, and its chief protagonist, Guybrush Threepwood, a mighty pirate. I could go on and on about this classic, but in the end, the graphics are charming, the soundtrack is amazing, and the story is one that pulls you in and makes you want to force your parents to buy you a £300 Amiga for a Christmas present. Thank you, Guybrush. How appropriate. Bonus! A top 10 alternative top 10 where I've never actually played the game or much at all, so thus here it is, hooray! So at number 10 of my alternative top 10, Zool. Now a lot of people love Zool because if you have an Amiga, he was your Sonic and Mario substitute. It was trying too hard to be a bit like Sonic and have a bit of pace about it. So I wasn't really interested, but many people love Zool, and I think there was like a Zool 2 as well. Even more lollipops. Number 9, Dungeon Master. Now Dungeon Master is way too scary for me to play. It's also way too blocky, forward, left, right, so I never played it. Many people love Dungeon Master and easily put it in their top 10. Number 8, Blue Byte's The Settlers. Now I played a tiny bit of Settlers, but I should have played more. You get all your crazy little dudes walking around the map. I don't know if you can send them off to fight. To be honest with you, I can't even remember. All I remember is windmill. I don't know why, but you can build a windmill. Congratulations. I think there's now 7 or 25,000 of them now. It's owned by Ubisoft now, but I think the first one is in many people's hearts. Number 7. I hate shoot-em-ups. A, I'm not very good at shoot-em-ups, but B, I don't find them enjoyable. So Turrican 2, there is a cult fan base like there's no tomorrow. This has got an awesome soundtrack. It's a hell of a gun and run. Number 6, Dune 2, Westwood Studios. Westwood Studios, have you ever made a bad game? If so, let me know what it is because I need to play it still. Dune 2, I have not played this game. It was a precursor to Command & Conquer, and I just remember opening up a magazine and reading the review over and over again thinking I need to play this game. But I never did. Number 5, UFO Enemy Unknown, or if you're American, XCOM UFO Defense. Again, this is one of the games that I want to be good at, but first I have to actually play it. I've seen many walkthroughs. I think there's Terror from the Deep. I think that's on PC. That was the successor. I love these games. I love the theory and the strategy and the carefulness about these games. but I've never actually played it. I do want to buy it for the CD32. It's just that you need a small mortgage loan to actually be able to afford it. But this game should be in my top 10. Number 4, Bitmap Brothers, The Chaos Engine. Now, me and Andy did do a video on this. I didn't have a clue what was going on. I don't think I still do to this day. But again, there's a big following for this game. People loved it. I've obviously missed something in this game, but it looks pretty, and the Bitmap Brothers again didn't make a bad game, I don't think. I loved Magic Pockets, by the way. Thought it was excellent. But this one, I need to play more. Okay, number 3, Defender of the Crown. It came out for pretty much everything at the time. Even Game Boy Advance? What? The Amiga version was meant to be bloody brilliant. It's a cinemaware game, so they're always pretty high. A bit like, is it It Came From the Desert? They Came From the Desert? Something came from a desert somewhere. It's one of these like strategy games that I think I'd love, but again, I just never got hold of it. So I think I have missed out on like something here. Right, number 2, a bit of a revelation here. It's Frontier Elite 2. I haven't even played Elite 1. And I think for a guy that so-called loves his retro games, that's a bit of an abomination, because Elite, especially on like BBC Micro or something like that, is epic. Space exploration / trading. I've got it for the CD32. I've never put it in. I took one look at the map and went, right, okay, but I should sit down and I should try and play this game. Aha, okay, so what's at number 1 of games that I should have played, but for some reason insanely haven't? Civilization. Now I've played, was it maybe Civ 3, 4, 5? Why haven't I played the first one on the Amiga? I think it'd be a disservice now that I've played the like more modern ones to go back and try and play, in theory, the more simpler one. Sid Meier is like sitting at home, like rubbing his hands in his bathtub of cash. But this was the start of it all, really. But this one probably should be in my top 10, but I just didn't play it. But now, number 5, Cannon Fodder. War has never been so much fun. Many people were outraged at Sensible Software's 1993 action shoot-'em-up. The Daily Star, one of the UK's newspapers / rags, helped raise the criticism of the game's mix of war and humour, as well as the use of the Remembrance Poppy in their game, the British Royal Legion being the least pleased. Unfortunately, they completely missed the intended whole anti-war and tragedy message the game was trying to impart. If you ever need a really poignant moment in a computer game, then Cannon Fodder's recruitment screen, in between their levels, is a good example. The Haunting Hill theme is one of my most loved pieces of music in a game, and wonderfully portrays despair with all the fallen and their gravestones. Oh yeah, so the actual game, yeah. It's fun, it's challenging, and it has skidoos. What more do you want? Oh, how about grenades and rocket launchers? Yes, okay, tick and tick. Sensible Software's art style is small and accurate with a sense of danger around every corner. And trust me, in later levels, random rockets will be making their way to your team from just off screen. There's just something about the game that makes me want to come back to it, master it, and complete it. I never will, I know that, but ultimately it doesn't seem to bother me. It's still a fantastic game on a fantastic platform. Number 4. Monkey Island 2, LeChuck's Revenge. I couldn't possibly put 2 games from the same series into my top 10. 2 epic graphic adventures done to such a high level that both Monkey Islands are 2 of my favourite games of all time. Monkey Island 2 was the first Amiga game I actually bought. Squeezed onto 11 floppies, LeChuck's Revenge is a pinnacle of the point-and-click adventure on the Amiga. The story, the graphics, and especially the soundtrack are exceptional. The opening theme still gives me goosebumps to this day. I read that Monkey 2 only sold 25,000 copies, which is frankly insane. It was classed as a failure. If this game is an underachiever, then I want to see what a success is. Full Throttle on the PC broke the 1 million sales barrier, and although I enjoyed that too, it doesn't come close to Monkey Island 2 for me. Trying to judge which Monkey game is better is pretty hard. Many prefer the slightly rougher original, but it's the polish and the extra length in the sequel that just edges it in front. Guybrush had many additional adventures past this one, but this was his high point. And Monkey Island stands up proud, nearly 30 years later, standing tall against the modern day giants. Number 3, Lemmings. Lemmings, only at number 3, right? Get out and don't come back. You can probably guess the remaining 2, but I was shocked myself at how many of the other top 10 contenders I really haven't given a fair crack of the whip to. Anyway, The Dundee Boys Done Good. DMA Design's 1991 puzzle platformer is simply a masterpiece of a game, and is the other game that made me want a Commodore Amiga. For Lemmings, simplicity is key. Don't be fooled though, it's far from simple, but the difficulty curve seems just right as you hopefully progress through the game. What drew me towards the game in 1991 was the simple fact that it could draw 100 lemmings on the screen at the same time. This was mind-blowing for an 11-year-old Commodore 64 owner. I'm a sucker for a puzzle game. I may not be very good at them, but damn, I like to have a go. In Lemmings, you have 8 different skill sets to help you traverse the level. It balances the tricky divide of limited moves and level layouts wonderfully. Lemmings 2 is also fun to play, but even some of the designers commented that there were just too many skills available. The original and best, so they say. If you have never played Lemmings, then you are young, that's your fault. It's okay though. Put down your Pugbuzz and your Fortnites and give one of the all-time gaming classics a go. Number 2. Syndicate. Syndicate is a game I should hate. Shooty shooters are not my favourite cup of tea, except it's isometric, third person, and team based. An element of tactics involved, and you can use civilians as cannon fodder. Oh, in that case. Bullfrog's 1993 strategic real-time dystopian fest is bloody brilliant. There, I said it. For me, only one other game can better this one, and even that took a few goes. Peter Molyneux, people may love Fable, Populous, and Dungeon Keeper, but this is your crowning achievement. Controlling cyborg agents has never been such fun, in a murky doomed future kinda way. I think it's the overall sense and feel of the game, as you are drawn into the cyberpunk style future world. You control your team of up to 4 cyborgs to various missions, from basic assassination to persuading selective humans to join your cause. This game is large, with worlds inside each level presenting you with sprawling structures and vehicles to enter and use. It's come as somewhat of a surprise whilst writing this that I found out the Jaguar version received 6.75 out of 10. Good scoring system there. And the SNES version, 22 out of 40. Again, thanks. But on the flip side, after playing the latter, it's actually not a shock in the end, as that is not a good representation of what Syndicate is. The Amiga version is polished, pretty, and gritty. My only gripe is I never managed to complete the game. But is that me, or its fault? The dark and macabre world of Syndicate is a hell of a challenge, but one you should absolutely tackle. Number 1. Sensible World of Soccer, 96-97. So, the best game on the Commodore Amiga? Perhaps the best game ever. Sensible World of Soccer, 96-97. I'm biased, of course. I played it for years growing up, and subsequently not doing very well at school. Combined with my love of football, association football, not American, but this game does one amazing thing. It converts haters of football, and even they enjoy playing this game. This brilliant feat shows it heals the divide, and must be really something to bring everybody together to love a game like Sensible World of Soccer. Well, it had many iterations. It improved something each year. The biggest was making the goalkeepers actually useful. I still remember the aim slightly left or right of centre to score strategy of the original Sensible Soccer. The addition of a career mode was equally key. The transfer market and player values, rather than a star rating, was much needed. The inclusion of a player's top 3 skills was excellent as well. If a player had VSC next to their name, then you knew shot power, speed and ball control were his finest attributes. The hours I spent wading through thousands of teams throughout the world, all real names, looking for a left winger with SCV after their name, so I could at least start every game well from kickoff. One of the best moments I had with this game is after buying a goalkeeper valued at £3 million, the highest amount for a goalie, was realising that his regen that was put in his place was valued at 5 million. This was extremely rare, so I bought him instead, and he stopped everything. Praise that £5 million goalkeeper. I haven't really mentioned the actual gameplay of this fast-paced and addictive game. Let's just say, to this day, it's still the best soccer game I have ever played. It's the friendly and arcade nature of the game that easily drew people in. But again, don't get me wrong, hours of practice have been put into developing the skills I'm sure there's still tournaments that take place around the world, none more so than in Germany, where I'm sure it's a religion. I've not even spoke about the added pass aftertouch that was introduced into the 96-97 edition to take the game into the higher echelon. Again, it was a game changer and I loved it. The perfect single player game and a masterpiece with multiplayer. So much action and pace with responsive controls put this game on a whole new pinnacle. Sensible World of Soccer 96-97 is easily in my top 5 of best games ever. It was just a shame there was no 97-98 version. Damn you 3D.